You're in conversation with Carla Thomas of the Post News Group and postnewsgroup.com. I want to thank my special guest today, Chief LeRonne Armstrong of Oakland, California. He is now running for Oakland City Council at large. And even though he's our former police chief, we still refer to him as Chief Armstrong. So welcome to the show. It's an honor to see you today and to interview you and spend time with you.
Well, it's good to be here, and thank you for having me.
So, I mean, it's amazing that you're switching from law enforcement to politics, which is, can be a stretch for people.
Yeah.
But I think with your resilience and with your focus and with the times that the city of Oakland is in, I think anybody that steps up is, worth their strength and their grain of salt. So tell me about your pathway to running for office.
Yeah. Really, I mean, it really is the people of Oakland, right? I really appreciated their support as I went through a difficult time leaving the Oakland Police Department. As someone who spent nearly 25 years at the Oakland Police Department and really giving back to my community, it really was something that stuck with me, that I was no longer serving my community, a community that had served me for so long. And so as I pondered what I would do next, a lot of people in the community thought my leadership was still important. They felt like I had more work to do, and I also agreed that there was more work to do in the city. And looking at our current conditions in the city, I thought who better than myself to step up in this moment and go back and serve and bring my expertise, all the things that I learned as a leader in the Oakland Police Department, to help address the issues in the city of Oakland.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime you spent 25 years in law enforcement and you're actually from Oakland, homegrown, from West Oakland, a McClymonds graduate, a Prescott Elementary School graduate. I mean, that means you really, really have skin in the game. And when you bring that type of a lens to a role, you must really be excited about the possibilities of what you can offer Oakland as a city council member.
Yeah, I mean, just being from here, like you said, being raised here, understanding how challenging it was for me growing up here, the things that you experience, you developed a level of resiliency. And the one thing we always said at McClymonds was that we were going to be resilient, right? That we were going to be people that were family. We called ourselves the Mac family because we believe that it was us against everybody else. And so that is the foundation that I'm built on, is really fighting for Oakland, really wanting to see better for my community, really wanting to say in my service effort that I really appreciate all those that have wrapped their arms around me in the city of Oakland. I grew up as a kid that went to Pleasant Grove Baptist Church under Reverend Arlie Hightower, and I learned so much during those experiences about how to appreciate the elders around me, how to appreciate my community. And now in this moment, it feels like it's my time to continue to give back. I know that I'm older and retired, but I still have a lot of energy and I still have a lot to give. And now is that moment.
But that's wherein lies the wisdom. And it's wonderful that you comfortably fold in religion, law enforcement, and now politics. So that's a great synergy to have.
I mean, everything that I've experienced has been such a blessing. As a kid, you could have never told a kid running down the streets of West Oakland that at some point they would be the chief of police. It wasn't in my realm of possibilities. I had never met a chief of police before. In reality, I probably didn't even know that position existed at that time. But I understand how important public safety is to our community. I understand the long negative history that the Oakland Police Department had in our community. And really, I thought I could be a part of change from the inside. And I feel like right now in this moment, we need that at City Hall. And that's why I'm choosing to run for City Council Member at Large. And a lot of times people don't understand why City Council Member at Large. The at-large is a very unique position. The council has 8 council members, 7 of which are all from geographic districts 1 through 7. But there's one council member, the council member at large, that has citywide jurisdiction.
Which is amazing.
Which is amazing, right? It gives them, just the ability to work on problems across the city, to engage with community members from all parts of the city, And for me, that aligned with who I was as chief,
Absolutely.
going throughout the city, meeting with all communities and really trying to solve problems for the entire city of Oakland. And so that's why I really chose the citywide at-large position, was because it just reinforces what I've already been working on, which is building relationships across our city with every community, no matter if it's from the African American community, our Asian community, our Latino community. We're all one Oakland.
What you're saying totally makes sense. Absolutely. You know, as chief, you represented everybody. And so it's nice to not have limited borders within districts.
Yeah.
You get to be there once again for everybody
Yeah.
and shoot that shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that you have the council members that represent their districts. They're important, but I think to your point, it's also important to be someone that the city has seen in that role as chief of police, that had a citywide coverage, now being a role as a council member who also has citywide coverage. And so I'm sure it'll be a tough election. I'll be battling as tough as I can. But I'd love to see all of our community come out on November 5th and vote Armstrong for city council member at large.
But you're up for the challenge. You're made of this. In fact, I'm wondering if your campaign's going to be like One Oakland. Do you have a messaging campaign set up? What is your...
Yeah, we've messaged our campaign and in particular a season of hope. And really, I titled it A Season of Hope because Oakland has faced so many challenges as of late. And in some ways, with the crime, with the budget, with the economy, and with businesses leaving our city, some people have lost hope and believe that our city can't come back. But I believe that this is a resilient city. And I believe, as a person who has faith, that we never lose hope. And that for me, this season is a season of hope, to believe, in spite of all the negative things that they've seen in the press and that's happening at City Hall, to believe that new leadership can bring in a new direction for this city.
So you hope to usher in basically a new season, re-energize and revitalize the city.
Yeah. Give people a new hope, new vision, belief that things can get better. Oakland is a beautiful city. Oakland is a great place to live, a great centralized place to work for people. And so there's so many positive things to look at when you look at our city as a whole. But unfortunately, it's been portrayed in a negative way. And so holding on to hope that that narrative can change, that people can really see us for who we are and see the city for what it is.
So can you tell me a little bit about your stance and how voters can trust you with regard to, say, homelessness?
Yeah. Well, I believe that homelessness obviously is a challenge that we've seen across this state. And it's unfortunate that so many people have found themselves in circumstances where they're unsheltered. The city of Oakland has, dedicated funds for the last several years to address our homeless issue. But the issues that they have been trying to solve have not worked. The strategies that they use have not worked. If you look at our city, it continues to get worse. And we're using taxpayers' dollars to invest in solutions. Things should be getting better. So what I believe is that we have to bring experts to the table, people who understand and have experience with helping to relocate people into transitional housing. To see the conditions that those individuals are living in right now is actually inhumane. That's no dignified way to live. And so I want to come into office and be able to work with those that are experts to come up with real solutions that improve the lives for Oaklanders.
And how can we help stop re-incarcerating people that have mental illness instead of getting them services?
Yeah, we have to continue to work with the Alameda County to identify resources to help people, right? To give people the support that they need. Police are not necessarily the best response for those suffering from mental illness, but we have to make sure those resources are available to them. And that's one of the things I focused on, even as police chief, was having alternative responses other than police. And I think we have to continue to rely on the county to support us with their mental health unit and all the resources they bring to bear. We have to be the voice of our city as city council members to make sure those resources are actually coming to Oakland to support us.
Okay. Well, Chief Armstrong, it looks like you're ready and willing to roll up your sleeves and work with just about anybody to get this city back to where it needs to be.
Yes, for sure.
Well, we're going to look back in time and talk to Chief Armstrong about the past and how he's persevered in the last couple years with all the controversy that was surrounding when he was released as police chief. Thank you for waiting for that next segment. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Carla Thomas with the Post News Group and postnewsgroup.com. You're joining me in conversation with LeRonne Armstrong, the former police chief of Oakland, California. We're in segment 2, where LeRonne is going to show us and discuss how he's persevered in spite of all the controversies when he was released from a position that he really, really loved, and the community loved him back. It's so good to see you today and continue this conversation. Take us back in time to about just 2 years ago, when you found out that you were going to lose the job that you love, that you were raised up in for 25 years serving the community. You know, all the points and tenets that you need to do to lift up the community and squash crime down was working. But then you get news that, you're no longer welcome in your position.
Well, it is a challenging conversation to have, one in which I didn't anticipate, because things were, by all accounts, going well. Crime was going down. We were meeting our requirements with our federal oversight. We were growing the police department by hiring local candidates to become police officers, people who had actually come from our community and had a connection to our community. So we really felt like we had a roadmap to improving and just being better. And I think the decision that was made to release me was one that destabilized the police department, but also destabilized our community. And so for me, it was really challenging because, like you mentioned, I worked my entire career to reach that level. And as an African American man from Oakland and from this community, and to be the first, African American chief from this community, that was a big deal, not only to me, but to our community and to the people who known me my entire life, who had watched me work hard to achieve that goal. And so I think it was a difficult day for everybody. But I must say, one of the most, gratifying things about that entire experience was my community.
The community stood up for you.
Yeah.
I remember there were so many rallies to support you.
Yeah.
You had people from the NAACP, you had people from the African American community, people that represented the Chinese development corporations, and even Councilman Noel Gallo was a big supporter too.
Yeah, so many people, the thousands of people that reached out during that time, the thousands of people that came to really express their disappointment with that decision was, something that actually, made me feel a little better, because it made me feel like people did appreciate the work that I'd done. People had appreciated where the police department was going. And so, those things, made it, something that I felt like was worth fighting for. And so, I obviously went through an entire appeals process, and an independent judge hired by the city, ruled that I did nothing wrong.
You were exonerated.
Yeah. And vindicated of all charges. And really that was, for me, a day that was just about sharing my community that, despite what was said about me, it wasn't true.
Yeah, the math wasn't mathing, because I remember going through the piles of paperwork that showed how you had uplifted Oakland with, like, say, 99.8% of all the tenants that the overseer needed. You'd fixed all of those. Yet and still, this person is still making $1 million a year for the last 20 years, thanks to the Rough Riders and all that drama that we had long since been passed. And you were really, really handling Oakland well. And the young people, young and even troubled people and ex-felons and all the programs fighting recidivism were really all folding and coming together, whether it was the OK program or Men of Valor programs.
Great programs, and having a chance to spend time with people from all parts of our community was really a part of who I was as chief, wanting to connect with our entire city.
You even helped reinstate the chaplain program, so that when there's an incident that goes down, the first responder can actually be a minister, yielding hope, which is one of your main tenet of campaigning.
I mean, working with the clergy has always been something that was important to me. I felt like police couldn't address this issue alone. that the clergy played a really intricate role in just
The
providing.
pastors of Oakland.
Yeah, pastors of Oakland.
And Bishop Bob Jackson.
Yeah, Bishop Bob Jackson and others. They would, they played such an instrumental role of coming out and ministering to the community and really praying for our community, right? And bringing that spiritual part of healing. That we can, as police, we always try to do our best to find the people responsible for crime, but it doesn't fix the trauma and the hurt and the pain that exists in those communities when a tragedy happens. And so having the clergy there and allowing them to go out with me and be able to pray and bring that spiritual side to a scene or to a community and pray for people and help people with the healing process, I thought that was key, because hurt people hurt people. Yes. And if we don't deal with the anger and the frustration that people have, we know that the history has shown that crime will continue. And so I thought, our clergy played a really key role. But initiatives like that is what people, knew that I was serious about addressing our crime issue from a holistic standpoint, not just from a policing perspective.
That's where true healing comes.
Yes.
And that's where true hope can spring forth.
Yeah.
So, it's just amazing that you've chosen to push past the controversy. Yeah. I don't think people realize how, it's one thing to go through something tough on your own, but in the public eye, to go through some sort of humiliation, it just shows you that if there's a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and you add the spiritual realm to a situation, you can persevere and prevail. Yeah,
I had great people like Bishop Bob Jackson around me, providing me the spiritual guidance that I needed during that moment, right, to stay strong and to continue that no weapon formed against me would prosper.
Come on now.
And so
beyond having a publicist
yes.
and a dream team,
Yeah, you can put all those great people around you, right? But you really, at some point, really have to believe spiritually that things will change and that things will move in the right direction. And I believe they have. And so in this moment, as I decided to run for city council, I believe that this is the moment to say, God has something different for me in my life. And now this is chapter 2.
For the whole city, yeah, for such a time as this.
Yes.
In fact, when I was thinking about this interview yesterday, I was thinking this is your chapter 2.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that you just said that.
Yeah, it's my chapter 2. And I would say sometimes the second chapter can be better than the first.
That's right.
Yeah. And so we'll see where this takes us. But I'm here to serve. I feel good. I'm energized. The community appears to be energized. And so I'm ready to serve.
Well, you're a seasoned leader, and I think Oakland would do well with you in leadership roles once again.
Well, thank you.
So thank you so much for your time. You're Oakland royalty, and we wish you well on this campaign.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you for being with us today. Enjoy your afternoon, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Yeah, if you're interested in supporting my campaign, LeRonne Armstrong for City Council Member at Large, you can go to armstrongforoakland.com. armstrongforoakland.com, all one word, where you can volunteer or you can donate to our campaign. Just know that the work that needs to be done in Oakland really does require us to get out on the ground and be able to demonstrate to people that we are ready to serve. But that also takes resources. It takes funding and support. So if you want to support our campaign, go to armstrongforoakland.com to volunteer and to donate. Thank you.